Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fans, look at my microphone coming into shot there. Fans, the Golf Loves United podcast, we are glad to have you back. Myself and Pro Golf Critic are here to update you on all things golf. We're going to talk about is Bryson a madman, changing his clubs. We're going to talk about the Rick Shiels and LIV. We're going to talk about a few different things with Rory and Tiger and TGL. But before we get started, Pro Golf Critic, you've got a little update, haven't you?
Yes, I've got a huge announcement. I wanted to announce that we are now sponsored by... Oh, wait, hold on. I've got a call. Hey, John. Yeah, what's up? Oh, we're not supposed to announce yet? Oh, okay. It was literally mid-podcast. So, all right, I will table it for another time. All right, thanks. Bye. All right, so I guess we can't announce the sponsorship yet, but there's been a little bit of confusion out there in the industry with things getting leaked and when it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, obviously for everyone, we're having a bit of fun, but it does seem to be at the minute there's a lot of like the Rick Shiels thing. We'll talk about Rick later and all of that, but with the Rick Shiels thing, that was leaked like 2 days before. Like, I put out what 2 days before it was happening. I put that post out, and then it got picked up by a few other people, and then obviously the Callaway thing got leaked and then taken down. And there's a lot of that going on at them. There's a lot of that going on at the minute. And is it a case of bad timing? Is it a case of, look, I'll be honest, I'll be truthful. I don't mind that it's coming out. I think that maybe the PGA Tour and LIV and TGL and DP World Tour, to a lesser extent, can we all be a little bit precious about timing these releases? What we've got to remember, as a golf lover and in the name, we're a small sport in the world. This belief that we're going to drop amazing news, it's going to shatter the world. No, there's about 1 million of us on social media that give a shit. Do you know what I mean, Jay? Like it gets a little bit like, look, just if the Callaway deal hasn't been penned or is reliant on Tom McKibben and there's legal things behind it, then 100% you've got to pull it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I can understand that, sure. but so much of this stuff, like with bless him, with Rick Shiels doing the build up and the build up and the build up, and in the back of the photo, it was the same set as Bryson had. Like it's just
it was like 3 weeks.
Are we being precious?
Yeah. Look, I think that you're nailing it. I think that some of the stuff has taken way too long to get out. Like we've had information that we've known about for weeks and months that we've sort of held on to, because to be honest, like there is not a lot of incentive for us to be first a lot of times. Like we could use this podcast to basically, announce all the information that we have about some of LIV's plans and some of the plans of the teams and all that. Except it's like we don't get a lot out of it. Like I get more out of the relationships that I have with folks that live, folks in the golf world. Like that's more important to me than like leaking some of this information. So it's part of the reason why I've gotten out of this thing about leaking what players are going and all that stuff.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because we both have been guilty of it. We can own that. We this is something that's not very common in golf. Owning up for things you said in the past that maybe you shouldn't have. We've both been a little bit, first to this one, first to that one, or here's my predictions. And our job is maybe to comment on what's going on and give thoughts on what's going on rather than trying to be first with it.
Yeah, completely agree. Like I think analyzing the landscape is really the thing that we do best, I'd say. And I think it's something that I like to sort of focus more on, because I feel like there's so many reporters out there. There's so many people that want to be the first to share some of this information. And it's like, we've already been the first a few times. And it's like, I mean, has that really been that big of a benefit to us? I mean, it's given us a little bit of street cred, but not really.
And also, and look, I stick up for Flush. He's a good mate of mine. Like, when you are first to things, you don't get the credit anyway. Flush did that amazing interview with Genio, and the fact that he got all those comments and it was thought-provoking, it had this stuff in it. And the likes of Sky Sports and Golf Digest and Golf.com, and what's his name, Eamon Lynch and whoever else, and
nobody
Brandel, they all just said
Chamberlain
came from an interview. Just like Tom got that information. Flush got that information. Flush got that interview. Just write about my article. And this came from an interview with Flushing at Golf. I just find it really weird that no one gets their flowers. So there's also...
I don't find it weird at all. Well, I don't find it weird at all because the golf media is this like the golf media is just a reflection of golf at large. It's this giant boys club that like you're either in the club or you're not in the club. And if you're not in the club, you're not going to get proper credit. You're going to be, shunned at pretty much every turn, which is part of the reason why I'm so aggressive about attacking the corrupt golf media and sort of calling them out whenever I can, because I know how they operate and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think that the way they conduct business, I think it does huge damage to golf media at large. It's just something where like, if you want to be independent media, you just kind of get boxed out, which is exactly what's happened with a lot of independent media with the PJ Tour and the golf establishment, all that stuff, like things that we've been talking about for 2-3 years at this point. And that's some of the stuff that really, really frustrates me.
It's not going to, obviously, is it going to get better? I was actually put a comment on Twitter earlier today about a guy called Lester Barnes. Lester Barnes is a YouTube golfer, plays with Dan Hendrickson. He's got his own channel, does reviews, Club Corp, Play 18 with me. Great little channel, really good bloke. And he was doing something I saw on social media earlier that I never see. He was saying, "Hey guys, here's another good YouTube channel. Go check it out." And I actually said, "Look, Lester's doing something I never normally see," and I think it's a shame that like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? We know that. There's a lot of people who are what I call ladder up men. They've got up the ladder and then they pull it up. They don't want you getting anywhere up that ladder at all. And there's a lot of those around. And I just think 100%. It's a little bit stinky because everyone should remember where they came from. And I'm not harping back to Flush, but to not credit him and to use his article, pull it apart, write long pieces, like Eamon Lynch wrote 2 pieces about it, Brandel wrote a piece about it, NLU covered it verbatim, and to not one point say this came from that interview, I just think it's crap. You don't even have to say you like him. You could say it came from controversial social media journalist, blah blah blah. Like, do what you want, but just mention his name.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. I agree, but unfortunately, that's just not how they operate. It's part of the reason why I
don't trust. We're about to get into CGM again. We can't. Our listeners are going to turn off in their droves. I'm sorry, everybody. Hang on. Where'd you go to university, Jay? Let's get out of the way.
No, I'm not going to go there. I've been tabling my solo podcast where I go very, very deep into the corrupt golf media. I'm not going to really get into it now, but it's like these are part of it. It's part of the problem that I've had with them from the beginning. Not only them, but media at large. It's a complete shit show, the whole thing, which is part of the reason why I call them out whenever I can. I try to educate other people on their incentives, all the sort of things that they have going on behind the scenes that makes them act the way that they act. So I just want more people to become educated on it. And I don't really need to be the one to sort of say all the little nitty gritty details. Like if you do your research on this stuff and you've been following this for 2-3 years, it's just very, very obvious to like anybody paying attention. Anyway, let's not get me started on the corrupt golf media. We already know.
I want to touch a little bit on India. I don't want to talk about it for too long. A little bit about growing the game. I exchanged a message with Caleb Surratt today. Like I had a message saying, "Mate, that course looks crazy. Is that course as crazy as it looks?" And he wrote back going, "Mate, it's crazier." I'm like, it's just like
that's what I've heard.
And I messaged Flush and like, for everything I'm hearing, that course is completely and utterly amazing and also simultaneously bonkers. So I'm looking forward to trying to watch in the UK is impossible. Anyway, my thought on India, first of all, go on.
Yeah, the European Tour has gone to this golf course for a while. So, and actually the European Tour is going back there later this year too. So, I mean, this has been a course that's been kind of in the ether of professional golf for a little while. Except this is definitely the biggest event that course or any event in India has. I saw a few folks from India tweeting about it, saying how many tickets they have sold, and they have over 20,000 folks over the weekend. So it's going to be great.
I think they got to their 10,000 target mark, and then we're going past it. That was like 3 days ago. Right.
Yeah.
And no, like you went to Duke, I've hung out with Bryson. Okay, we'll get those stories out of the way. So, having spent a bit of time with Bryson, he is, as I said many times in his podcast, he is a absolute savant of golf. He loves golf. He's undoubtedly a genius. But is Bryson a madman? He won a major. He's played fantastic golf. And now he's changed his clubs, not to the change we've just had or an updated version of that brand. He's gone and made his own irons with Roll and Bulge with LA Golf. Like,
yeah,
what are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse for sure. Being sort of, and actually,
I still say genius. I still say genius, but hey, it's just what?
No, it's true. No. I think that it is a blessing and a curse. I heard Victor Hovland talk about how he's just he is kind of crazy for, when things are actually working and you're playing great golf, but you still want to tinker here and there. Like it can be maddening because it's like, I tell people and we've seen it going back to Tiger. It's like, Tiger plays some of the best golf we've ever seen and decided to change his golf swing. So, and change his equipment and like do all this other stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, if you're playing at that level, maybe you shouldn't change it. But Bryson's kind of the same way. He's always been a scientist. That was his nickname for a while. I think he's kind of gotten away from the scientist nickname because he's had so much other stuff go on since then. And it wasn't necessarily seen as a positive thing, but I think that he's going to constantly tweak, and it's not like a huge enough change that it's like causing problem because it's still single length irons. The specs of his new irons are like fairly similar to the custom 3D printed ones that he had. I know he's coming out with a new LA Golf driver too that seems to be modeled after the Crank, except I saw that he's still playing the Crank.
He's still playing India. The Crank. He's still playing.
Except all these things are going to evolve. I think that the standards and sort of the basic specs are not really changing that much. So it would be a whole different thing if he was changing, like completely changing specifications, like going to a shorter driver, going to a longer driver, going to like something totally off base. But I think it's consistent enough that I don't think we're going to see any drop in his play. I hope that I'm proven right because I don't want anything to get in the way of him winning more tournaments and winning majors this year. But we'll have to see. People change, things work out, things don't work out. They go backwards, they go forwards. This is all part of golf.
And in the spirit of helping out other people who are mates, go and check if you want club information on who's playing what and the latest changes, which don't always make it to Google because they have standard stuff put on there by their sponsors. Rob Brooks, who goes as Golf Nation _ on Twitter, and he's Rob _ Brooks on Instagram. Rob's a good guy. We meant to play golf together last year, but it got cancelled because our opponents cried off the day before. Rob is a clubs guy and posts photos of everyone, close up, zooms in, trolls over the internet trying to find like a photo from Flush in India or from someone else in India with the update of Bryson's club, and there was a photo and you could see the back of the Crank drive. Like Rob's all over that. So if you're into club porn, go and check out Rob Brooks.
Yeah, check him out, and absolutely positively do not go to Golf WRX. I will leave it at that. Golf WRX, they've kind of jumped the shark here the last year for a variety of reasons that I won't get into. But no, the equipment stuff has always been really interesting to me. I used to be more of a gearhead than I am now. I've told a few people that like it's not as quite as exciting to me as it used to be. However, that may be changing the more I start testing out new equipment and stuff.
Can I ask a question? And I'm not
of course.
getting into it big time with the manufacturers. Having got to know you, am I right in thinking one of the reasons you're less of a gearhead is because nearly every manufacturer has an annual release and you just see it as a lot of people are trying to print money all the time and there's not much improvement?
100%. 100%. That's been
which is why you like one of the reasons you've actually warmed to Ping as a manufacturer because you're like, look, you guys do it every 2 years and try and take a leap forward.
Yes. Yeah, it's a huge thing. Like, I see these manufacturers, like, you know, they'll remain nameless, but you know who they are. Like, they release a new thing every single January, and
TaylorMade,
it's like,
Titleist, Cobra. I'll say their names.
yeah, and you know, Callaway. I've had some conversations with them. They need to calm down too. But like, I just think that the release cycles are too short. So it's almost like they make a jump and then they bring it back a little bit, then they make another jump and it comes back. And it's like this vicious cycle where it's like, if you do it every 2 years, it seems a little more authentic and genuine, that like, oh, this is the result of another extra couple years of R&D and improvement. If you're just doing it every year, like clockwork, it's like, yeah, people are gonna buy new things, because people, golf is an industry that has a lot of people that make a lot of money. People are gonna waste money. I don't want to say waste, but they're gonna spend money on golf clubs because it's been a huge thing. People want that latest and greatest driver because it's like it is kind of a status thing and all that other stuff. I get all that. The whole equipment industry is run on that.
I
It's
keep
run
being
on
asked why I've
pros
not
using
changed.
it too.
I keep being asked why did I change my driver, change my 2 hybrid, and why did I never change that? You've played me. I've still got that red, like 6-year-old, 7-year-old Ping hybrid as my 4 hybrid. Why haven't I changed it? Because I hit it money every single time. And for me to get rid of that club, I don't care if there's a new one. I need it to be as good, probably better, because if I'm going to spend money on it. But we'll talk about clubs and stuff at the end, because we have actually got an update. Right.
I did get a little bit of club information from actually, we haven't really talked about it at all yet, but I was obviously down in San Diego this past weekend going to my first PJ Tour event in 7 or 8 years. It was a great experience. While I was boots on the ground, I did get some really great information from Phil Mickelson, who is tinkering with his set right now, and it's very interesting hearing about some of these changes where he's obviously played Callaway stuff for a very, very long time. He's testing out some ping stuff here and there, testing the driver. If you watch his video with Grant Horvat where they played the Johnson brothers, DJ and Austin, it's very clear Phil is testing out a ping driver. He's not sure if it's going to stay in the bag. He may go back to Callaway, except he's testing out some of the Ping woods. And look, we have to give Ping credit. Ping has been boots on the ground at every single LIV event the last couple of years. And I think that they've had a lot of people come into their truck looking to upgrade equipment. It's a great spot for them. I mean, LIV has a lot of great players that like want to tinker a little bit. And then when you're boots on the ground there, you're going to have an advantage over the other manufacturers. So shout out Ping. You've done a really great job with contributing to LIV events, being boots on the ground there. And yeah, we obviously spent some time in the Ping tour truck when we were at JCB as well. I'm sure we'll probably do that again. But yeah, shout out to them. I think that they're really starting to nail exactly how these manufacturers need to sort of have their cycles, and their tech is great. So yeah, shout out to Ping.
Well, I like the shout out to Ping for many reasons, and we will be talking more about them towards the end of the show. But we're not going to do for the people listening to podcasts who aren't watching on YouTube. I just rub my eyes because I don't even know how to start this. But right, TGL last night was better, much better, and they still need to have some shots.
It had Tiger and Rory in it. Of course,
but I mean, actually, as a product, it was better because I quite like the fact that when the player hit the shot, they put them in vision watching it. The fact there is still no tracker on it is mental. Like, one of the easiest fixes. But Jay, I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud like Billy did last week. Does anyone truly care now Billy's told the world that the directors are calling how they want it to go? Are they guilty? Look, let's be blunt. Are TGL, if what Billy said is true, are TGL guilty of breaking the law regarding match fixing because you were able to bet on it? With FanDuel, DraftKings, and a few other American sites, you were able to bet on it. So if what Billy said was right, is that a thing that needs to be discussed? And that's one question. And the other question would be, does it mean anything if people are fixing the results? Like to say fixing is the wrong word, but manipulating the results. We don't know if it's true, but that's what Billy did say.
That is true. However, and this is going to be a rarity on this podcast, me being the Billy Horschel, being the defender of Billy Horschel, but I do think that he did say that a little bit tongue in cheek when he was saying, "Oh, the producers told us to keep it close." I think he was half joking when he said that. I just think that there's so much. This is basically what I've seen this whole season as. Now we're kind of in mid-season now in TGL. I've really seen this as sort of a beta test season. Like it really is. Like it's really year zero. There never should have been any betting around it. There never should have been any of that stuff. I get that they wanted to sort of hit the ground running with this, except as we've seen with LIV, it's like it takes, a year or two to really get your footing and like really sort of understand like what your audience is, like what direction you need to go in. And I think that those are the things that they haven't really spent that much time on.
And look, I've said, if Billy was joking, was he being serious? We don't know any of this. But the comment, have you seen the comments today on some of the Twitter posts about TGL? Oh. Like that, I would say maybe 1 in 8, 1 in 10 people are saying, but what does this matter if the producers are trying to manipulate how close it is? Was this meant to be close because were the producers manipulating it? Yeah. I really think the TGL have got to come out and release a statement and say, we are not manipulating it. Billy was obviously joking. Like, we wouldn't manipulate it, and we can't manipulate it because of the gambling regulations and people are betting on it. So we can't fix the outcomes. Yeah, I think they need to say something because I don't think that comment's going away, Jay.
No, that is true. And like you, how you like to say, Billy definitely does have the Rory's sort of foot and mouth disease sometimes. Like he says things that he's probably not supposed to say, but
I like Billy. I know you don't, but I quite like Billy, but I know you think he's performative, but regardless of how much we like or don't like Billy, that comment needs to be ironed out.
Yeah, I definitely think that they need to they need to get out in front of this for sure. Like they need to get out in front of the sort of two things that I think are sort of holding the league back a little bit. This sort of competitive element is a huge problem, and also the technology that we've already talked about, like, is also a huge problem that they've got to get out in front of. Like, I haven't seen like any communique from them talking about, what some of the issues with the tech are, and I've gotten to it on like social media with a bunch of people, but it's like it's so clear now that like so many more people are talking about it. My Golf Spy just did a huge thing about how full swing simulators are not top of the line tech, and it doesn't matter if they have a Top Tracer also sort of feeding some of the information into full swing simulators, when the bottom line is their underlying tech is not as accurate as some of the other stuff that's out there, whether it be TrackMan or GC Quad or whatever. That's just a fact. And the longer this goes on, if they don't address it and they're not actively out there talking about the technology and just like trying to pull the wool over our eyes, like they're the wizard and the Wizard of Oz, like people are going to start having questions, and you start to compound the issues with the technology, with the competitive element. Like people are going to start having questions, and this is not going to go away. And it's something that they've got to get out in front of. They got to get their hands around it, and they have to do it this season, because this is not something that can carry over to next season, assuming there is a next season. And I think there will be, but it's something they got to figure out for sure.
There's enough to like. Rick Shiels, LIV. Should we go there?
Let's do it. This is one of my favorite things that have happened with LIV. I have watched Rick Shiels videos for probably, for a long time. Like, I'd probably say my sort of entry point to YouTube golf was probably like 2016. It was like Me and My Golf and Rick Shiels were sort of the two that I started following. And I think Rick Shiels is like, he's got a huge following. I've gotten into it on social media with a bunch of people about Rick Shiels because there is some negativity in sort of the LIV fan universe about him. Except, like I said, I followed him very, very closely. I've listened to pretty much every podcast where he's talked about LIV. He has not talked about LIV in a way like some of the other podcasts out there, like your No Laying Ups, like, you know, Shotgun Star, people like that, that start to make it more. Rick Shiels has never made it about something other than golf. It's always been about the golf. Yes, he's talked about, you know, it's been a little bit controversial for various reasons, except he hasn't gone down the route of.
The one thing I'd say, right, and while I agree with you, is sometimes people have just got to go, like I just did for you and I, for us admitting that sometimes we try to be first to stuff. Guy Charnock has got some explaining and apologies to do, because simply listening to him being, look, I like Rick and I like Guy, I like the show, but if you are anti what's gone on, or you feel that things are maybe not quite right, Guy needs to come out and just say, listen, I was very anti-LIV, but this is a fantastic opportunity for us all, and I hope by being close to the product, we can make it better, we can get involved, understand more. Whatever language he wants to use, but what he can't do is slag it off for 2.5 years, and now just go, oh, there's a bit of cash coming. He needs to be a bit more, because he wasn't, I didn't feel he was being genuine on the latest podcast. I thought Rick was being very genuine, and I think Guy was trying to avoid the conversation and did the thing I hate more than anything. He's gone back and deleted the tweets.
That is true.
Now he should have left. He should have had. Guy should have had the balls to stay there, leave the tweets up, and address it. Because now he's not addressed it, and he's deleted the tweets. And I like him, and I like Rick. I'm happy that Rick Shiels is involved with LIV. I think it's going to be great for the league. I think it'll be amazing for the league. But Guy's got to own. Guy's got to own that. And deleting the tweets is low end.
No, it's a great opportunity. I've had people call me out for some of my old takes, and it's been a great opportunity for me to address them. Like, people sort of went back in my tweets about, you know, Saudi Arabia from like 2018, but 2019, and like they were trying to say, oh, you didn't think this back then, and it's like, you're right. I didn't think like that back then, because the more information that you gather, the closer you are to some of these things that on the surface seem a little bit controversial, except then when you start pulling back some of the layers, getting behind the curtain, it's very, very clear that you're able to gain more knowledge, gain more information. And when you're able to do that, your takes are going to change. There's no question about it. Like, that's been something that's been very, very important to me to put out there, that like, even these anti-LIV folks that have been around for 3 years, some of them are fake accounts, but some of them are real. It's like, if you're able to just learn more about LIV instead of listening to these BS talking points that have been out in the media for the last 3 years, really get down the brass tacks here. Like, you're going to learn more about it. You're going to learn more about why it's a good thing for the ecosystem. It's a good thing that LIV is around. It's this entity that's able to evolve way faster than the PJ Tour is. And now sort of having Rick Shiels be involved in this, like, I'm not expecting Rick Shiels, his opinion, to necessarily change in a vacuum. Except the more information, the more time he's able to spend with these players, with these general managers, with these executives of these teams, and also the league at large, he is going to learn more about their plans, how they're going to execute them, all that. And it's going to make him way more informed, because one of my biggest problems with him and Guy on the podcast is they sound very uninformed. A lot of times when they've been talking about LIV, what they've been talking about on the podcast or on social media or whatever it is. So now they are going to be informed. Like, I can promise you that, like, the next few months, they've already done some podcasts with players that have kind of called them out for some of their past takes, which is going to be really interesting. I'm really curious to see how that pans out. Except that's really the key thing, is that, like, you have to be able to obtain more information. You have to be educated on this stuff. Because if you're not educated, and this, I need to address people on social media about this, where you're not educated on certain topics and you're trying to call me out for my takes, I can't even take you seriously and have like an actual argument about it, because it's like, I can't take you seriously. You have to be as educated, if not more educated than me, to try to put me in my place. And I've been on social media talking about golf for 2.5 years. It pretty much hasn't happened.
I smirk because I put 50 cents in you and off you went.
Look, yeah, it's one of those things.
I agree. I think, look, what do I think is good about Rick? I think Rick seems quite personable in the way he approaches it. I think he tries to be a good golfer, understands he doesn't always hit it right. I think he understands the game of golf. Yeah. What do I think is not great about Rick at times? I actually think he's sometimes woefully uninformed about actual professional golf and what's going on their wins and their playing style and stuff like that.
Yes, 100%.
But that's because, but that's not Rick's fault for not knowing. That's Rick's fault for not having people to help him know it, because you can't know everything. You can't know every gambit of golf. You can't run the gambit of everything. Like that's just human nature. You can't know all things about everything. But having a producer that can help you with X, Y, and Z, or if you're going to talk about so and so, have some stats on hand, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I honestly think Rick needs to bring us into his circle to help inform him about everything going on with LIV too. That would probably help him out.
Yeah, so, I think that he Rick, probably doesn't want us or need us. Yeah.
But I think he might. I think he might. I think that.
And if Guy needs help with a mea culpa, I've done a few of those, Guy. I am here to help you. It's very easy. Just go, look, I said some shit, and I felt and meant some of it, but also I think there are ways you can improve, and I'm going to keep telling the truth. But I'm excited to work with him, and I still feel that some of the things were a bit gimmicky, and I still think some of the things were a bit this and that. Just say that.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair.
Don't delete your tweets. Look, I can't waste any more time on that. I can't. We've got limited time because I've got to go tomorrow to Ping HQ. Ooh, we'll talk about it in a moment. Right. So where are we? Does Tiger and Rory playing last night and having a close finish and only just getting a bit of a bump in comparison to the ratings show that TGL needs something else to help make it work? And the reason I say that is you needed last night to be the best viewing figures by 20%, right?
For sure. No, I think that would help.
You got the two biggest names on the PGA Tour by a mile.
Yeah.
And did it get the bump it wanted? No. Did it get a bump? Yeah. But has it got the bump it needed, which is like 20% over its best number? I just like, and the reason is I know a lot of fans of LIV Golf want me to dislike TGL because it's a PGA Tour product.
Oh my god!
But like, and okay, I get this. I'll look down the camera lens. I understand that it isn't real golf because it's not played outside. It's not played in the elements. But I like playing golf on a simulator. It is
so do I.
It is -1 outside.
Because I'm much better. I'm much better in this thing.
I'm not. I'm nowhere near better because I don't concentrate as much. It's -1 outside today in the UK. Not now, it's night time. It was blowing like a 40-mile-an-hour wind. I don't know what the storm was called today, but I'm going to say it was called Mary. So I had Storm Mary blowing around my head. It was -1 and it was raining. If I want to play golf in that, I need to go and have some sort of mental therapy. So I like sim golf because I can go inside when the weather's crap and play. So I understand it's not real golf, but I enjoy the premise of TGL. Fix some of the production issues with proper shot tracer, shot tracking. Fix and show the spin rates on the screen and some of the other stats on the screen. In fact, not showing some stats, not all of them, is just bizarre. I don't mean, of course, every single stat, but I mean some of the major stats that golfers understand.
Yeah, there needs to be some consistency there for sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
And what can be done, Jay? I'll ask a question. What can be done to give TGL hope to be a firm product? Because if you can't get that bump with Tiger and Rory that you want, there's something innately wrong at the base of that product that couldn't get you the viewers that maybe you want long term?
I think there's a couple things.
I don't know there's one answer. You say a couple.
Sure. No, I mean, there's a lot of answers, and I'm sure the producers know this. I mean, I know some of the producers, so I'm sure they're out in front of this. However, no, they were on a little bit earlier on the West Coast than they were those first couple episodes. Like they were on it at like 3:30 my time, and like I'll be honest, like I missed the first 30 45 minutes because it was busy with work, and like that's not a unique thing to me. Like I think that they need to find a happy medium with the times, and I think that's where this sort of season 1 is that beta test season where they can really hone in on, okay, what's the optimal time that we have to sort of start these matches? Is it going to be, should we have this on the weekend? Like you can't really do that during golf season, unfortunately, because a lot of these guys are playing in golf tournaments, and like you don't want to compete with those golf tournaments either. Even though if it is on in prime time, you're not really competing with it. So that's kind of another story. I think that they have to figure that part out first. I know that they love drafting off of the Duke basketball fan base, because 3 out of the 4 highest rated ones have come either right before or right after Duke basketball games, and the Duke basketball fan base, they gravitate towards ESPN and start watching things early and all that other stuff. So definitely got a little bit of bump from that. No question about it. I also think, and I've heard the producers talk about this a little bit already, is that they have to figure out a way to incorporate some of the LIV players. Like the glaring hole in this whole thing about TGL is they are clearly missing Bryson DeChambeau. There's no question about that in my mind. He would up level this whole league. Him and Phil Mickelson, those two alone, just take this product to another level. And I think that most people there know that. And with this more blended golf world that we're moving into here in the next few months, like when season 2 comes around, like there's probably going to be an opportunity for those guys to come in. I don't really see Phil doing it for a variety of reasons. I could definitely see Bryson doing it though, for sure. So Bryson and John Rahm and Terrell Hatton and like Waco, all these guys that are more engaging personalities. So you're cutting some of the fat of some of these teams, like Kevin Kisner. There's no point to Kevin Kisner being on these teams. There's just not. Like you replace him. Yeah.
Kevin Kisner should replace the guy who's presenting it as a presenter.
he should be an announcer instead of a player. Okay.
No, I actually think
Pat
he should.
Perez role.
Yeah. The Pat Perez role. Oh, shout out to Double P. Double P, what a guy. Good fun. Haven't spent a lot of time with him, but you and I were chatting with him on the putting green, him and Claude Harmon for maybe 10, 15 minutes of JCB. Like, he's a great guy, always has time for people.
Oh, yeah. I spent 9 holes with him in the Pro-Am, too. Like, he was great to me and my dad. Yeah.
Tell you what I don't want to be. Tell you what job I don't want. Can I tell you this for free? I don't want to be the guy who's on the swear button on Fox Sports. Shit me. With Pat Perez, he's going to get a bloody finger. He's going to be worn to the bone. Because obviously, LIV don't bleep anything out. If you're on the mute button, you might just... Here's a tip for Fox. Just hold it. Just hold it down. When you see Pat's lips moving, just hold it down. And then when he finishes, count to 3, just in case there's another thought, then take it away. I love Pat, but I can't see Double P not drop in. I can't see. What's the over-under on the F word in the Riyadh event? I'm gonna give you the over-under of 2.5 that we actually hear.
I think I'm going to go under, only because I'm sure this is like the media training that the media training that he's doing prior to this. Like that's the number one thing that they're beating him over the head with, controlling his language. Like it's got.
I reckon they've not spoken about anything else. Here's the mic. Here's how to know when we're looking at you. Here's the signal, and please don't swear.
No, exactly. Yeah, I definitely. I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to be a lot better at it than like people think, for sure. Like I think he's very unfiltered, which can be a blessing and a curse for sure. And I think that it's just going to be. I'm just really excited to see how he gets on. Like I'm not going to really make any predictions about it. I just really want to see it because I think he's going to be additive. I think you and I have felt like the LIV broadcast could use a little bit of extra something. I wasn't exactly sure what that something is. And maybe Pat Perez is sort of maybe he's a little extra something that gets him over the line. We'll have to see what happens there, but I'm excited to see it.
Good. Well, I think that's it, isn't it? We've covered everything. We've done your trip a little bit. Do you want to just talk about the fact that Ludvig Aberg nearly killed you?
Oh yeah,
of all the golfers in the world to miss you by 2 foot. The one that
it was actually really appropriate. It was really appropriate. So I was actually hanging out with a bunch of folks with the Century Club of San Diego. Shout out Marty and Nancy and other folks that I've and Barbara too, who actually she runs the Century Club there. Century Club, for the people that don't know, they've basically been running this tournament, the old San Diego Open at Torrey Pines, for the last 50, 60 years, however long it's been. It's been a long time. So they know their golf. They're very aware of the current schism and everything going on with that. So I had great conversations with everybody. Really, really, really enjoyed it. I appreciate them telling me how great the ideas that I had. That was all free advice. I'm not expecting. Maybe I'll expect an invite back when the field gets up leveled at some point. So yeah, on the 4th hole of Torrey Pines. So I'm standing about 300 yards off the tee, on the right side near the tree that's just to the right of the bunkers. And not really thinking Ludvig's going to push it that far right. Well, guess what? He pushed it that far right. He hit the tree, and it literally, the ball, it almost hit me. It was right next to me. I'm going to post this photo on Twitter. I actually got a picture of his ball. I also posted a picture of his recovery shot from the tree and the little dirt patch over there, which was really, really impressive. Like, I thought it was a great shot. He got on the green.
Superb shot.
Oh, it was a great shot. Great shot. Except that's the thing about Ludvig that is going to drive people crazy. Like, he has great ball striking. He has great skill set. I'm just not sure if the mental game is all there. Like, I just don't think he's a closer. And I was actually talking to a lot of folks at the Century Club about this who were huge Ludvig fans. And I had to sort of knock him down a few pegs. And they were like, you know what? You make good points. Like, I compared him to some other folks, like what, someone like Jordan Spieth had done at the same age. And they're like, oh yeah, it's not even like a comparison. Like, Jordan Spieth.
He's not even had the career Matt. He's not even had the career Matt Wolff's had.
Yeah, not even Matt Wolff. Like, he still has a long way to go. And I just keep telling people they have to pump the brakes on him. And I think him playing hard courses. One more thing. I think that him playing hard courses particularly exposes him to. So, and Torrey Pines South is an extremely tough course.
Where you're going to struggle is 3 things. 1, he's a very good-looking man. That's true.
I heard that a lot from the ladies around. That is true.
But some of the guys, mate, he's a good-looking man. Like, he's going to turn heads, and people always treat good-looking people better. Whether that's right or wrong in society, it's always been the way it's been. It'll continue to be the way it'll be. And Ludvig's a good-looking bloke, so people automatically elevate him slightly.
He's marketable, for sure.
He has got, I know you don't like it because you don't like metronomic swings, but he has got, and you look at what other pros say about who's got the best swings out there. AK was talking about the other day, best coach in the world, whoever built Ludvig Aberg's swing. Ludvig's swing is, like, for many people, swing goals, because it's just so repeatable and so smooth. So you've got a couple of things that will always, and then 3, he can hit these absolute wonder shots as a flusher. So look, it'll all come down to the mental game. But ironically, he lost the tournament, and not he to the guy who won the tournament. You could, I mean, as in the guy who won the tournament is also a certified flusher. And you are in danger at times of potentially having a Harris English career where you're a certified flusher and you hit the ball. Harris English, by the way, maybe one of the most underrated swings in the game. Just so smooth, so stunning, absolute flush of the ball. And I just think that maybe Aberg needs to help work with someone like that short game, because I don't know, Jay. It could just be a concentration thing. That he's a professional golfer. Who am I to tell him anything? All I'm saying is I can just see when he gets in 30 yards of the green or on the green, there seem to be more errors than anywhere else. So is that Hands or head? Who knows?
Short game and putting is a huge problem. Like I was out there, I saw him 4-putt a green. I was out there on the 14th hole. He almost hooked his.
That was a 3-putt from. It was a 4-putt overall, but he 3-putt it from 4 foot.
3-putter from like 4 feet or 4 or 5 feet. Yeah, it was not good. And granted, look, I understand in the afternoon, Poana greens can get a little bumpy, but it's not an excuse for some of these pros. It's just not. I'm sorry. Those greens were as pure as I've seen. Poa greens, like they have Torrey Pines so completely dialed for this tournament that like you got to make those putts. Not everybody's missing him. That's the thing. Like he's one of the few that did, and I think that it was uncanny. The holes that he played that I saw, he was like 6 over par. I only watched him play 7 or 8 holes, and the other holes he was 4 under. So it was just like my presence, and I know he saw me out there because I kind of gave him a nod, and he immediately made a bogey right after that. So shout out Ludvig though. I'm actually rooting for him because like I never want to see a player struggle mentally, and I know allegedly he was sick, and like that was allegedly part of the reason why he played poorly, but like we got to stop with these excuses. Like eventually you're going to run out of excuses. Like he's got to step it up. He's got to clutch up. And I want to see him play a little bit better at the end of tournaments on some of these really difficult golf courses.
Right. Well, on that note, we're going to say goodbye. I've had, I want to jokingly say dozens. I think I've had 4 people say, "Are you and Jay going to do any picks for LIV events for the year?" Jay hates fantasy, and I understand that. But in lieu of doing as many picks we did last year, all I'm going to say, Jay, is which player. You've got to pick one player to top 3 next week, and you've got to pick one and the team that's going to also podium.
Okay,
who are you going to go for?
Okay, all right. Yeah. I've got a little bit of data to work off of now.
Yeah,
I think I know who it's going to be. I'm going to save it for our next podcast, though.
Yeah,
since it'll get out prior to the
yeah. So a top three player and a top finishing team, not podium. So top 3 player, top finishing team, and we'll simply do over the year. If you get the player right, you get 5 points. The team right, you get 6 points because it's slightly harder to get one team. And we'll just do that by the end of the year. Whoever's the winner gets. I don't know. You can buy me dinner in Orlando. Oh, I haven't spoken to you yet. This is personal admin. Alan and I are definitely going to go and play Stream Song in December next year. So we'll see if we can get that sorted.
Nice. Yeah, you're going to love Stream Song. It's one of the. Like I bag on American golf all the time. Stream Song's one of the few exceptions to the rule. Stream Song.
My year's shaping up nicely. I got Stream Song. I'm playing Raw Port Rush in March and Castle Rock in March. I'm playing Raw Port Rush obviously just for the Open. I've got a few really nice trips planned in. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Maybe you can squeeze in Cabot Citrus Farms too when you're in Stream Song. It's maybe like an hour away. We'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah, the listeners do not need to hear you and I plan another golf holiday. Watch your space, guys. I can confirm that I'm going to Ping tomorrow. I'm now going to be working with Ping for my clubs. Through the club bag from Ping, which can be fantastic, and I'm really happy to be working with them. That's come about through just Jay and I and the work we've done, and the interview on the Ping tour truck. I went down really, really well. Has been used in communications, so that's fantastic. Excited, and hopefully we can get some great Ping players on the podcast.
Oh, for sure, Ping, Callaway. I'm still caught in between Ping and Callaway a little bit. Like I like them both. They've both been supporting LIV. One is still, they got 1 foot in, one foot out. I really need to sort of nudge them in the LIV fully. It sounds like we're going to get that announcement here pretty soon. So shout out to Callaway and Ping. They've definitely been supporting LIV, and I think it's going to be an exciting 2025 for sure.
Right. Well, goodbye, everybody. Have a lovely week, and we will speak to you soon. Jay and I will go away and do our fantasy pick. I think I made it easy, Jay. 1 player, 1 team. Just makes it easier for you, doesn't it?
All right.
Because you hate doing it.
I can do that. I can handle that. Yeah, I'm not big on fantasy, as everybody knows, or betting for that matter either, for very good reasons. But I can handle that, so it's all good.
All right. Take care. Goodbye, everybody.